Hi, welcome to Back to the Roots. Um, I had planned on going shopping today and showing you a day in my life kind of thing as I transition back to my roots. Wow, back to my fuzzy roots, definitely the shave. Anyway, but then I've done a lot more research and I haven't changed my mind. I've just learned so much in the last couple of days that I have decided, like I said, I don't label. I don't say vegetarian, vegan, all of that. I just say I'm not eating meat right now, but I'm also not going to be eating dairy and dairy products. So I guess for all intents and purposes, I am going vegan. As much as I hate to label it, that's an easy way to label it. Anyway, the reasoning behind that is, had I done this research, because this information that I found as I was researching has been around since the 60s, 70s. Had I found it initially in the 1980s when I first started looking at it due to the John Robbins book, Diet for a New America, I would have stayed. I never would have come back to. I never would have gone back to eating meat and dairy products. Um, the things that I found out were just wow, just mind numbing. Uh, so that being said, like I said, I was going to go to Whole Foods, do some shopping, uh, go to Target, do some shopping, and I'm still going to, but possibly later. I might attach that to the end of this video. And I've also taken some video where it shows how I prepare one of my protein shakes, and I'm gonna attach that. I'm gonna do some prep work as I put together some food. Um, Another part of my plan, actually, it's an all-encompassing plan. You see, I want to do this the right way. I want to fully flesh it out. I want to make sure that everything is everything. Wow, I see the thin me inside. Cool. Anyway, so that being said, I intend to do a juice fast for 30, 60, maybe 90 days. In the tradition of Joe Cross, and I say that because I'm going to be using his, for the most part, his recipe. I'm going to tweak it a little because, way too many carbs for my taste, so I'm going to tweak it somewhat. So I'm in the market for a juicer. So my thoughts were, originally I was going to go with a Breville because that's what he used in his movie, and it seemed to work well for him. But then I was also looking at the Omega Big Mouth Juicer BMJ Model 330 or the Omega Model 4000, and these are fast spinning centrifugal juicers. In the case of the Breville and the BMJ 330 by Omega, they spin at 10,000 RPM. So they're slinging out a lot of, they're slinging out the juice quick, fast, and in a hurry, which is not the most efficient. You get a lot of wet pulp behind. But it doesn't matter. See, I was thinking what I would like is a slow juicer, the grind kind where masticating kind where it grinds it and squeezes it to the, choking a chicken, squeezes it every ounce of life out of that vegetable. But like I said, I don't have the real estate for that, meaning I don't have the counter space, and they're expensive. I could afford it, but I don't see myself spending $400 or $500 for a juicer. I mean, I'm worth it. I would. I'm absolutely worth it. Howsomever, I've got other things that I can be doing with my money. And I don't really see myself, like I said, the biggest thing is counter space. If I had the counter space, I'd buy it like that. I just don't have the counter space for that. Because if you've seen that kind of slow juicer, the masticating juicer, it resembles a meat grinder. I mean, it really looks like a meat grinder. And I just don't have that kind of counter space. As it is, it's going to be a tight squeeze just for my centrifugal juicer, but I've got a waffle iron that I'm going to vamoose. Well, I don't ditch them. I've got a storage space down in the cellar where I, will move it out. I've just got to explain to my family that, hey, you don't use the waffle maker very much. I use the juicer every day, So that's what I'm going to do. So for 30, 60 days, I'm going to be doing a juice fast, a juice cleanse. And the reason for that is I've been eating a lot of food. I mean, the last couple of days, it's not a big deal. But before that, not even the last few weeks, since I made the switch back to My Rootz, it hasn't been a big deal at all. But before that, I was eating meat and dairy and meat, a lot of meat. And the juice cleanse is just a way to, for one, it rests your system, gives it a chance to just, breathe, So that's one reason. And the other reason is this research I was talking about. I have been, for one, I saw a documentary, well, not a documentary, but another YouTube channel called Veg Source. And in it, the gentleman, I apologize, I don't remember his name, but the gentleman was touting the benefits of veganism. And as you know, part of the reason for me doing this, as you see, I'm a beefy fellow. I've always been muscular. And people have always told me, oh, you can't change you can't change, your makeup. This is your genetic makeup. Diet won't change that. You're just meant to be a beefy fellow. And it's like, yeah, you know what? Pardon my French, but bullshit. And the reason I say that, anyway, never mind the reason I say that. So this channel, Veg Source, is where I first got confirmation that yes, you can. It all comes down to what you eat. Nutrition will beat out. And what I mean by beat it out is I will be the leanest me possible. And as you see, I'm not that thick now. But the point is I'll be even leaner. And also, it also confirmed that the people who are the thinnest, who are the leanest, are vegans. It also confirmed that anyway. So in his Veg Source, his nutrition plan is based on Dr. McDougall. I believe it's John McDougall, and I like it. However, it's heavy on starches. I mean, I don't, potatoes and rice and things of that nature. And I don't intend to do that unless I absolutely have to. So, and then that led me to research Dr. McDougall more. And in my research of Dr. McDougall, I came across Dr. Joel Fuhrman. So yeah, as you see, I'm behind the times. When I say I got out of the whole lifestyle, I mean I was out of the lifestyle. So I researched Dr. Joel Fuhrman and came across his stuff about Eat to Live. In fact, if you can see it, alrighty, there we go. Went out and bought the book, Dr. Joel Fuhrman, MD, and his thing is, because, and the reason I prefer Dr. Fuhrman to Dr. McDougall is because Dr. Fuhrman Pardon me, that's my phone. Dr. McDougall is kind of a one approach fits all. Dr. Fuhrman, and I kind of saw this in a debate where they were at a conference, and it was like, yeah, they're gonna, pardon the pun, but they're gonna hash it out, So they both gave their debate, their arguments, and the one that really caught my ear was Dr. Fuhrman, and he said, "Oh, he was talking about Dr. McDougall's plan, and it was like, everybody is different. You can't take a one solution fits all approach to it because everybody is different. What works for one person won't work for another." And that line right there, it had me hook, line, and I was hooked. It was like a fish. So, because that goes along with everything that I believe. There is no one size fits all solution for everybody in anything in life. We're not all the same. We're each unique individuals. So, that being the case, and it'll be easy enough to just adapt McDougall's approach to it. So, it's not that, it's really not that difficult. Because both of them advocate a high nutrient dense low calorie, nutrient dense eating plan. In which case, you make, like Fuhrman's big thing seems to be, you make your you center your meal around the salad, and you add other things. Obviously, you can have soup, you can add other things to it, but the big thing is a salad. And that makes sense because for me that's a no-brainer. That's easy peasy, because it takes up a lot of volume, and it's got the added benefits of being nutrient rich and calorie low. I could literally eat. Well, I can't eat that much, but if I had the stomach capacity, I could eat a couple pounds of salad and not consume a whole bunch of calories or a whole bunch of bad nutrients. So, and now both of them advocate no oil, which is going to be not really difficult, just is going to take adapting, particularly when it comes to salad dressing. I'm going to have to because my big thing, I just started making my own vinaigrettes, so I'm going to have to adapt that. And Dr. Fuhrman has some recipes, and if I'm not mistaken, some ready-made, but I don't do ready-made. I don't like ready-made. I'll find it and I'll figure it out and adapt it on my own. So that's the approach. And over the 30, 60, 90 days, I will read Eat to Live. Whoops, where is it? There we go. I'll be eating Eat to Live by Dr. Joel Fuhrman, MD. And I might also get some of McDougall's literature, read that just so I have a better understanding. Also, for the last couple days, I had the pleasure of finally watching, and I had seen it on Netflix. I've been a Netflix subscriber for years. Now the price is supposed to go up, so I don't know if I'm going to keep being a Netflix subscriber, but anyway, the point is, I finally watched. I told you the other day I watched Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead Part 2. I also, just the day before, the last 2 days I've been watching, because I didn't watch it, in one sitting. I watched Forks Over Knives. I've seen it advertised on there. I just hadn't watched it. Like I'd seen Food Incorporated before. I'm big on things, food documentaries of where it comes from. So, like I said, I saw Forks Over Knives, and that's the research that I had seen the other things, but that got me going to being a vegetarian. Well, that got me confirmed, convinced, committed to being a vegetarian. I was already there, but that just solidified it, that fortified it. However, watching Forks Over Knives is what pushed me over the edge to veganism. And the reason I say that is because the protein that I take, and I'm gonna finish out the jug just because I spent $50 on it, and I gotta and it'll take me, until I go through that jug to find a proper. Oh, that's part of it. I'm sorry. So anyway, I was watching that documentary, and they were talking about the two, Dr. Campbell and Dr. Ellison, I believe his name is, and the research they had been doing since the 1960s and 70s, and that's why I say, had I seen this before, wow, 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 wow. So anyway, and their research was just mind blowing. I mean, wow. And it's funny too because I believe it was Dr. Crosman. I'm sorry, the one gentleman, much like John Robbins, well, similar to John Robbins. See, because John Robbins was heir to the Baskin Robbins empire, and he turned and walked away from it and chose a different way of life. Well, this gentleman, Dr. Crossman, I believe is. I'm sorry, anyway, this doctor, he was raised on a dairy farm, for goodness sakes, and it was a good medium-sized dairy farm. And he became a doctor, and if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, he started out in, trying to be a better animal doctor, a better farm doctor, I guess, or doing nutritional research kind of thing, and he just couldn't. He was saying how they touted milk as being the perfect food back then, and how his research led him in other directions, and he had no choice but to follow. So that was something, for him to turn his back from that and turn his back to it and go to a different way of life. So, and they had it, so anyway, so another part is the protein. I was saying how the protein I currently take, which is IsoPure zero carb protein, is dairy. It's whey protein isolate. I'm going to be using that 30, 60, 90 days until I finish out that jug to find a vegan source of protein powder. And it's got to meet 5 conditions. It's got to be reasonably priced. It's got to taste good, or taste decent. It's got to mix easily. It's got to be a decent source, a decent amount of protein, and I forget the 5th. So maybe it's just 4. Price, taste, protein amount, and ease of use. Or maybe it was ease of finding it too, because I don't want to have to search all over and order it online. I mean, I will if I have to, because once again, I'm worth it. So anyway, that's what I'm going to be doing. And the reason I'm doing that is because if you watch Forks Over Knives, the one doctor who from the dairy farm, he was doing some research in Asia. Well, anyway, the point is, part of that movie details some research they were doing with cancer, and how when lab rats are fed, they're exposed to cancer, and then they're fed protein. That 20 grams of protein, of animal protein, activates and feeds this cancer. 5 grams of protein, of plant-based protein, turns it off. Not only that, so the IsoPure protein I'm taking is 24 grams of animal-based protein. So while I'm taking it to maintain my shape, what am I doing to my insides? Am I riddled with cancer right now? And that's not a worry, it's not an active concern, because I go on and off the protein quite frequently, but it's something to make you think, what, you know, so I'm going to find a better source of protein. Also, part of that research and part of the documentary was how people were reversing diabetes, reversing heart disease, all kinds of things just through nutrition. Nutrition alone. I mean, it's just fascinating. I really encourage anybody watching this, if you haven't seen Forks Over Knives, go watch it. I mean, whether you are a vegan or a meat eater or whatever, go watch it just so you have a better idea of what's going on. And this is hard science that nobody can deny. You can't say no. That's like, you know, 1 + 1 equaling 2. It's empirical scientific data that you cannot avoid. You can't refute it. You can't argue it. It just is there. So that being the case, I'm off meat for the rest of my life. You know, like I said, I'm going to use the next couple months to read Eat to Live. There we go. Eat to Live, Dr. Joel Fuhrman, MD, and get an understanding of what's involved there, and also just to get, in general, you know, get all set up. Let's see what else. So that's it for an update. I'm running 21 minutes here. That's long enough. Hopefully you watch it. You know, instead of adding anything to this video, I'm gonna assemble another video with the other footage. So, all right, take it easy. 22 minutes exactly, and I'm out.